Good evening and welcome to Chicago Tonight Latino Voices. I'm Joanna Hernandez. On the show tonight, school's out for the summer, but what does that mean for migrant families living in city shelters?
By standing together, we demonstrate that love is love and that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect.
Pride Month is officially here. We explore how Latino communities are celebrating. And we meet the first Mexican-born woman to travel to space and hear about her next mission. And now to some of today's top stories. The Chicago Police Department is giving us an insight into their pre-preparations ahead of the Democratic National Convention, where thousands are expected to attend and protest. Hundreds of officers attended an open training at McCormick Place today, where they practiced shield training and bike drills. The police superintendent says safety is the main goal and that arrest and use of force are last resorts. However, he adds police will not tolerate violence or vandalism.
We want people to have their voices heard. Chicago Police Department, we do not get political when it comes to this. Our job is public safety, and we want to make sure that we keep the public safe. When our officers are out there dealing with volatile situations, there are going to be decisions that those officers are going to have to make, and we want to make sure that they're trained properly to make the most effective decision.
And Snelling says training is focused on officer discipline and ensuring police are working together as a cohesive unit. CPD says the 2,500 officers who will be assigned to DNC duties will receive 48 hours of training beforehand. The convention is set to take place from August 19th to the 22nd at the United Center. Chicagoans are honoring those who served in World War II on its 80th anniversary of D-Day. Members of local veterans organizations gathered in Daley Plaza today to lay a wreath at the Eternal Flame to commemorate the day when Allied forces launched a surprise attack that helped liberate Europe from Nazi Germany. More than 4,000 Allied troops were killed on D-Day itself. It's estimated that less than 120,000 Americans who served in World War II are still alive. If you're looking for free internet access, you may want to try your local park. The Chicago Park District announces it will be providing free internet access in several city parks on the south and west sides, focusing on communities with limited Wi-Fi connections. Garfield, Humboldt, and Douglas parks are just a few of the 60 local parks where hotspots will be installed this year.
This investment will provide connectivity up to 200 yards beyond the field house. That's about 2 football fields. It will also include outdoor antennas in other areas of the park, like the playgrounds, the athletic fields.
The Park District says it's completed broadband improvements at 27 of the park field houses. And in the fall, the district says it would execute the second phase of the project, focusing on outdoor areas of the parks. If you want to listen to some salsa music and try Puerto Rican food, you're in luck. The annual Puerto Rican festival known as Fiestas Patronales kicks off along Division Street in Humboldt Park today. It's a 4-day celebration filled with food, music, and arts. Today, entry to the festival is free for the community. Saturday and Sunday, it's $10 to get in. For more summer festivities happening across Chicago and the suburbs, check out our website at WTTW.com/news-festivals. Up next, officials say more than half of the migrants forced to leave city shelters immediately returned. Reporter Heather Sharon has an update right after this.
Chicago Tonight, Latino Voices, is made possible in part by the support of these donors.
Chicago officials tell us more than half of 900 migrants evicted from city shelters are once again living in those facilities. The news comes as officials plan to start evicting families with school-aged children from city shelters on Monday, a decision that's raising some questions. WTTW news reporter Heather Sharon joins us now with more. Heather, we know that the city has been enforcing the 60-day limit on most adults. Do we know where they have gone?
So the city is not tracking whether they're able to live independently or if they're doubling up with friends or other people in Chicago. But we do know that approximately 500 people who hit that 60-day limit reapplied for shelter beds, which means they're right back living in city facilities where they were before they hit that limit, raising real questions about whether the city and the state are doing enough to get them on their feet and starting a new life here in Chicago.
So it's almost like they're just cycling back.
Right.
Now, we know city officials said they would not evict families with children from city shelters until after the school ended. We know that Chicago public school students are out. What will happen to them?
So starting on Tuesday and then for the next week, approximately 120 people who had been otherwise exempt from the shelter evictions will be asked to leave. Now, it's not clear if those people have places to go or whether they will come back to the landing zone where the city sort of processes migrants and reapply for shelter space. This comes after Mayor Brandon Johnson was under a lot of pressure not to evict families with children during the school year because, of course, that could have meant they had to leave their school and start an entirely new place.
And is enforcement of the 60-day limit shelter stay working like Mayor Brandon Johnson thought it would be working?
Well, Commissioner Brandy Kanazi of the Department of Family and Support Services told me that, quote, the city of Chicago continues to maintain one of the most generous shelter stay policies for asylum seekers of any major city in the United States. The city of Chicago has been clear that all residents have the option to re-enter temporary shelter sites when they reach their shelter exit date if they have been unable to secure housing. The question is, will that policy hold as so many more people prepare to have to leave the shelters?
Now, we know the Democratic Convention is around the corner, and city officials have been warning that there's a possibility that Texas Governor Abbott would be sending more buses to cause chaos during the convention. Has he done that? Have we seen that?
Not yet. Of course, the convention is still a couple of months away, but there's been no sign of a big surge, even as the number of migrants making their way to Chicago continues to increase steadily by about 5% every month since the beginning of the warm weather. Now, at the same time, the number of people living in city shelters has dropped by 13% just in the past month. Today, there are fewer than 7,000 migrants living in city facilities. Whether that holds as we approach mid-August is a big question.
Well, thank you, Heather, for that update.
Thanks, Jana.
And you can read Heather's full story on our website. That's WTTW.com/news. Imagine having to gather in secret or getting kicked out of places because of your sexual orientation. Well, that was a reality for hundreds of LGBTQ people during the 1970s, 80s, and even the 90s as the gay liberation movement was gaining momentum. As Chicagoans begin celebrating Pride Month, we hear from individuals who have paved the way and continue to work to create queer spaces for the next generation. Joining us now are Alicia Vega, a longtime LGBTQ+ activist and founder of Alicia T Consulting, Manuel Hernandez, Executive Director of Alma Chicago, and joining us via Zoom is Victor Ravago, Board Chair at the Center on Halsted. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Alicia, I want to go to you. Take me back to your youth. When did you come out as an openly gay woman?
Wow, taking me back. So late 80s, early 90s. You know, there really wasn't a lot of language around me understanding what it was that I was experiencing.
So the word lesbian
was
not known.
I heard the word gay, but I didn't hear the word lesbian, and it wasn't like part of any regular vocabulary. And so I remember a day where a friend of mine, his older sister, I didn't know was a lesbian, but was a lesbian, and she had like this gathering at their house, and my friend invited me over, and when I showed up, I just felt like I was at home, and I was like, I didn't understand what that meant, and as I started meeting people, and my friends, like, my sister's a lesbian, and it was like it clicked for me, like the disconnection that I felt in terms of just sort of understanding who I was.
This is where I belong. And you had mentioned that your coming out journey experience, you relate to it from a scene to Acapulco. It's an Apple TV series. Just to quickly talk about it, it's a scene where the mom is telling the young daughter, like, what are you going to do? What are people going to say? How are you going to have a family? Did you relate to that scene?
Oh my God, I related so much to it. I'm Mexican, my parents are Mexican, and my mother was, I just like saw us in those scenes. My mother loved me dearly. We lost her last year, and so the scene was just even more impactful for me to hear the conversation between them, and to the mother's just trying to like grapple with, I care about you and I love you and I want you to be okay. I don't want you to have this hard life, and the daughter's trying to explain who she is, and the religious Catholic component of it that lives in those scenes. And I had an experience that I relate with many people on, as I remember going and I'm just walking at my parents' house, and my mom comes by and she opens her bedroom door and she's like, "Psst, come here, come here." I'm like, oh, what is it? She's like, come here. So I come in the room. She doesn't say a single word to me. She just sits me on the bed. She brings out her bottle of holy water, and she just starts sprinkling me and just like whispering her prayers, and does a sign of cross on me and kisses me, and then that was it. And I knew what it was about, and we don't talk openly about a whole lot of things, but I understood what she was doing. And when I share that with other folks who may not have like a Mexican or Latino background, they're like, "Oh my God, it's so terrible." I'm like, no, it was actually it was her way of showing affection, for my mother. Like, when you needed something, you called her and she would light that candle. She would take the St. Jude or the Virgen Guadalupe candle for you, so it meant something.
It was one of those moments, and at least I can relate to the story. I'm also Mexican. My parents are very Catholic, so I understand what you went through. And Manuel, I want to go to you. What was your coming out journey like?
Yeah, well, my coming out journey, I also grew up in a very religious home. I grew up Pentecostal. And so the first time in which I said anything close to being gay, I was 8 years old, where my stepfather asked me if I had a girlfriend in school. He was asking about my day, and then asked, "Do you have a girlfriend?" And in my innocence, told him no, but I also think boys are cute too.
Wow, at 8 years old,
At 8 years old, right? My limited understanding of what that meant. But I saw the reaction on his face, and his reaction was like a bit of surprise and shock. But I made him promise that he would never tell my mom, because I knew of our upbringing and how she may have reacted to that.
I can't even believe it. I can't even believe how that felt. I want to talk about ALMA, which is the oldest LGBTQ organization in the Midwest, founded in 1989 when the AIDS epidemic was in full swing. Tell me how fundamental the organization was during that period.
Yes. So during that time, at the height of the HIV/AIDS epidemic, we saw primarily gay men, right? The community being devastated by this pandemic. But it was also disproportionately affecting Latina gay men. And so the organization created space where these men can come together and find support with one another that was also culturally relevant and linguistically accessible. As support groups, and also just getting to build community with one another. Since then, the organization has evolved.
Continue to grow with multiple programs, even for youth, correct?
Correct. And so an organization that was founded as an organization for gay men, for Latino gay men, is now an organization that encompasses everyone within the Latina LGBT community. Especially focusing on youth engagement and encouraging them to take on the leadership to advocate for their communities and their homes that they're coming from. And so now we have programming that's geared towards connecting arts with advocacy.
Giving them that space.
Giving them the space.
And
correct.
I want to bring Victor in here. The center in Halsted opened back in 2007, but your history dates back to the 1970s as Gay Horizons. Tell me how programming has grown over the years.
Yeah, I mean, the programming has evolved quite a bit to meet the growing needs of our community. And, Chicago is such a diverse city with folks of all sorts of cultural backgrounds, lived experiences. And, in its founding, a lot also addressing the needs of the HIV/AIDS pandemic. It has evolved since then, and now we have youth housing, we have culinary workforce training, we provide mental health services, and we ensure that it's everyone, our trans siblings, our immigrant members of the community, our
And Victor,
seniors.
I have to share that at one point when I was in my early teens, I actually was looking for a space where I was having trouble coming out to my family, and I went to a group. It was a group session at the center in Halsted where people of all ages were coming together expressing how they were having a hard time coming out. So it just shows how impactful these programs are. Do you see that with the community, or is that what you hear from the people who go to the center at Halsted?
Yeah, it's a fantastic place for folks to come find community in supporting themselves through either coming out or dealing with their family support and how they're being embraced. And it's folks of all generations. They find a place and we find groups and social programming that supports them.
And Alicia, I want to talk about Amigas Latinas, which was a huge thing back in the 90s, which was a space for they gave Latina women an outlet to come together. What is something that you still remember about that time?
Oh my God, there's so many memories. I think about when I realized sort of the changes in culture. The organization, started out with folks like putting something in a newspaper, looking for other people like Amigas Latinas or like themselves. And for me, I started college, and I was just coming to terms with my sexuality, and there was a small group of folks at Loyola University where I was at. It was Gay and Lesbian Alliance without the other letters at that point. The university was not allowing the organization to exist, so I learned about my advocacy through this group. But I also wanted to connect with the Latinos at the organization too, but I felt like when I went to the Latino organizations that I couldn't bring like my lesbian self in there. And then when I went to the gay and lesbian group, there really weren't, folks of color. So I felt like I had to leave pieces of myself at the door. And Amigas was like, I got to bring every single part of who I was.
Every Latina was coming to this organization, coming together. You said that you would host conversations, so it was really a space to express yourself.
Yeah, people would open their homes. It was intimate. We would meet over meals, and we would just have topics and just come together and just talk and connect and see people like ourselves in safe
thank you.
spaces.
I'm so sorry we ran out of time, but thank you for this conversation. Yeah. And you can visit our website for events happening this Pride Month. That's WTTW.com/news. Up next, we introduce you to the first Mexican-born woman to travel to space. It's many kids' dreams to blast off into space one day, and our next guest is no exception. Fulfilling the promise she made to herself as a child, she became the first Mexican-born woman to travel to space after landing her dream job at NASA as a test engineer. Now she's dedicated to showing other women that the sky's the limit when it comes to reaching their goals. Joining us now is Katya Echazarreta. Thank you for joining us. It's such an honor to have you here. I have to ask you, what is it like to be the first? I remember reading that there was a point in your life where you've mentioned that you and your mom lost everything, and it almost felt like you had to start over. What does it feel like now?
It's such an honor, but it's also such a great responsibility, and I understand that because I know so many young girls, so many women are looking up to my story in the same way that I looked up to Elena Ochoa when I was growing up. She became the first Hispanic woman in space, so I understand what it feels like, both to look up to someone with so much love, but also to be looked up to in that same way. So it is my greatest honor to be able to represent all of those women.
And what does this period of your life feel like? How would you describe it?
I really, truly did not think that it would turn into all of this. I mean, I knew people would care about it, obviously, but I just could never have imagined that it would have been to this level. So that transition at first was really difficult. I mean, you go from being an engineer, the one that's working with your hands, that's behind the computer screen, to being behind
and then being in magazines and then being in the covers of magazines. I can't even imagine how that had to feel like.
My first few ones were stressful and they were not very good, the first few shoots that I did, but I've had to practice, just like everything. I like to be prepared. So
And you mentioned your mom is such a big pillar in your career. What are those conversations like now as she has seen you flourish?
My mom's story is just a story that continues to inspire me because she always wanted to have an education. She always wanted to have a career. She lived a very traditional life as a stay-at-home mom, as a housewife, and it really was her biggest dream. But she felt and believed that it was something that was never going to happen for her. And what we've been able to create together since then is one of the first foundations and nonprofits in Mexico for Latin America to be able to provide other space-related education opportunities for people from our own community.
So you're bringing her in
She's
into that
currently the
experience.
director.
Wow.
She started her career in her 50s, and she is my favorite coworker ever.
I'm sure that had to be very emotional for both of you.
Yes, it was really funny how it happened because as my mom, she just started helping me. And she was always the one pushing me and telling me that we could make this as big as we wanted to. We can help as many people as we want to. And it eventually turned into me realizing she's pretty much working a full-time job here. And I tell her one day, I feel really bad. I feel like I should pay you. And she said, then pay me.
And that's how it happened.
So that's how.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, I want to go back to 2022. What is something that you still think about when you were up in space?
I think just that change in perception. There's something called the overview effect, which is actually what I was sent to investigate. And it's a psychological cognitive shift that happens when an individual is able to look at the planet from the outside. And to be able to have that experience and to be able to now recognize what it is that happened, because it's not like the flip of a switch where you immediately feel different. You don't notice it immediately. You notice it later on as the weeks go on, as the months go on, and now as the years have gone on. I realized that the person I was from 0 to 26, I left her in space. I'm not that person anymore. I am a person that is just so much more human. I care so much about everything.
It gave you a different perspective about life.
Absolutely. It's beautiful.
And when people ask you what that feeling like, I'm sure a lot of people have asked you, what do you say to them?
I tell them that it's like being born again, except this time we get to remember. I mean, can you imagine remembering what that's like? You're in the womb and then you come out and you see the world and you're starting to recognize sounds that you recognize from when you were in this little space and you felt comforted and you felt warm and you felt cozy, and you come out and you realize there's an entire world out here you had no idea about. It's like that.
You're giving me the goosebumps.
You're coming out and you're realizing, oh my goodness, I had no idea.
Wow, and I want to talk about your time while working at NASA. Is it true, I did read that NASA created a position for you?
They did. They did. I was a student at UCLA and I had my first interview, and it was for a position that I was not really necessarily qualified for, we'll put it that way. It was for something completely different than what I was studying. It was for software engineering, and I'm an electrical engineer, I'm a circuit board designer, but I decided to take this opportunity and go through with that interview, even though I knew I was probably not going to get that job. But I decided to do something else, and that is, this is my opportunity to actually interview a NASA engineer. I have this person on the phone with me. So if I know I'm not gonna get this job, I will at least make it count.
Is that what you tell people now, to take advantage of any opportunity?
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid. I feel like that's something you talk about a lot, to not be afraid.
Exactly, because you never know what kind of doors you're going to be able to open from opportunities that maybe are not necessarily for you in the moment. And thanks to that conversation, this engineer went back to the electronics team. They created a position specifically designed and catered after my resume because he liked that conversation and my love for what they did so much.
That's awesome. And you've spoken with world leaders, kids who are dreaming also of having the same positions. I mean, what is your dream now for the next generation?
Something that has been so instrumental for me in the past couple of years has been realizing that my entire life I thought my lifelong goal and my lifelong mission was to get to space. And when I finally did that, I realized that my mission was actually just beginning. And that is, I don't want to be the first if I'm going to be the last. So I've been working every single day since then to create real and substantial change to be able to ensure that other people are going to be able to have that opportunity. Other Latinos are going to be able to have that opportunity. Other women, the little girls that are currently watching us doing everything that we're doing. I want it to be easier for them to actually make it to the point where I currently am. Because if I'm the first and we're currently living in 2024 and another person hasn't gone after me, then I'm not going to stop until we achieve that.
And last question that I want to ask you, what would you tell your younger self now? with everything you accomplished. What will you tell that young little girl?
I would definitely tell her thank you, because she was always so bold. She always knew exactly what she wanted. And when she was going around saying one day she was going to travel to space and everyone was laughing at her, she just said, you just wait and see.
So it's just a reminder to keep manifesting and never give up on your goals.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on our show.
Thank you so much.
Of course. And we're back to wrap things up right after this. What an inspiration. I can't even imagine what it feels like to be in space. And that's our show tonight. Be sure to check out our website, WTTW.com/news, for the very latest from WTTW News. And join us tomorrow night at 5:30 and 7 for the Weekend Review. Now, from all of us here at Chicago Tonight Latino Voices, I'm Joanna Hernandez. Stay healthy, stay safe. Buenas noches.
Closed captioning is made possible by Robert A. Clifford and Clifford Law Offices, a Chicago personal injury and wrongful death firm, and proud sponsor of programming that offers advice and strategies to enhance the physical and mental well-being of fellow legal practitioners in Illinois.